every business process, you have multiple steps assigned to multiple people. And many times you need to have some kind of notifications uh, to inform people that, either something has completed or something is pending, and an action or activity needs to be taken care of. So in the business process, from the related actions menu of the business process definition, you can select business process, add notification. To associate this notification with a step, configure a notification trigger on step entry or step exit, and then select the trigger step. So we can notify people when the step has begun, somebody has entered that step, or somebody has exited that step. And then the trigger, whether it's completed, canceled, or on hold or whatever it is. And select an effective date. The default effective date is the current date, and enter the time zone. The default time zone is the current user's time zone. So the triggers for notification, you can specify that a notification trigger on entry of workflow steps or trigger on entry of signing group when the business process enters that step. You can also have conditions and rules for notifications. Notification trigger include the trigger specifications and the rules you specify. Both trigger must be met before the notification is sent. Okay, so we're trying to create a sample notification, say BP hire. Let's look at the default definition. And from the related actions button, we can go to business process and click on add notifications. Before I jump onto that, there's a tab here called notifications on the business process. Here you will have all the system notification that are there within the business process. It'll tell you the status in the first column, whether these standard notifications or system notifications are enabled or disabled. Manual advanced system notifications disabled, workflow step, the order of the workflow of the business process, A, B, C, D, E, I, the type, specify, and then which group the notification is going through. So these are standard system notifications. And then whatever custom notifications we create will be reflected in the bottom section. All right, so let's go ahead and create our new notification. So edit workflow complete, notify sales department head. Effective date, business process hire for networks, override email, trigger and status completed on exit. So let's start with this. First thing we are going to do is add notifications. Then we need to first select a trigger. So trigger we want to send a, say when a step is completed, then send a notification. Also, we can select either on entry into the step or exit from the one of the steps. So I'm going to again select completed. For some odd reason, it's not letting me create a condition rule from here. Okay, so we'll come back to it later on how we are going to set it up in this tenant. I think I need some permissions to be enabled. So let's say cost center. So the condition rule is if the cost center is changing, then this rule should fire on a status of a completed step. Right. Then we have the option of repeating the notification if we want to repeat it, which generally is not needed, but we can repeat the notification as well. We can select the recipients from here. Like for example, job position, we want to send it to managers. And also we want to send it to HR. See if I also want to send it to a security group, say HR admin. And I can create the email options like first send it to work and then home address or home only or work only. So I can select say work only. Now, in addition to this, if I want to send it to a specific email address, say support at, so I can set up a specific email address here as well. Now, reply to is going to be the reply to email address. Say HR at ZaranTech.com. Now, from here, I'm going to start developing my message of for notification. I can press plus button, say the cost center has changed for the new hire. Then yeah, I go to the body, say new hire EMP or employee ID space. Then first one is the text. Then I can select a field, say employee ID, and it'll pull it from the system. Employee ID. Yeah, I'm going to use this one. Then say I want to add a line break. So go to the next line, add that. Then say employee name. Then say worker. And enables you to access details on that worker. So let's select a worker. Say I want to add another line, say line break. Say add another one, say hire date. Then enter the field for hire date. And say I want to add another one, say line break. manager, cost center, and a line break and say text. This is for your information. In case of any queries, please contact HR at ZaranTech.com. All right, so now our notification is ready. Row 12, column 3. I had to select the field here. So this is a notification that we've created. We have said that it should be on status complete. Recipients are HR partner manager and the groups are HR admin. Email option is work only. Email address is support@zarantech.com. Reply to is going to be HR@ZaranTech. The subject is the cost center has changed for new hire. Then in the body, we're saying text employee ID, then colon, and then we are pulling up the employee ID from the system for the affected worker. Then in order to get to the next line, I put in line break, then employee name as text field, then the worker to pull up the employee name, which is clickable, actionable employee name, then a line break, then hire date field, then line break, then manager, then workers manager field, then line break, then cost center as text, then cost center current, line break, and then in the end, I have added a simple text. And the condition rule is if the cost center is changing during new hire, then this trigger should fire. So if this condition is not met and the trigger status is not met, this notification will not fire. So let's look at the preview. So this is how it will show up in the notification in the inbox or the email address. So subject is going to be the cost center has changed for the new hire, employee ID, then employee name, worker, hire date, manager, cost center. Of course, the line breaks will not show up and the fields will not show up, but it will show the data that is being populated and how the line breaks are activated during the email. So notifications would look something like this. So this is a sample notification. A termination process has been completed for Andrew Ross. So this is the legal name of the worker. Then a line break. Please run the project terminated workers report to confirm that the worker is in da 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 da. Then this field is not available, whichever is configured. We'll have a look at it. And after running the report, search for the added resource plan for project tasks to remove the worker from appropriate projects. So let's have a look at this termination rule. So this was business process, new definition, and so this is the termination notification that we just saw in the inbox. So let me edit this. So here the status was completed. Send it to these groups. Email options default, and this was a notification. For example, it says, so in the subject, it says worker has been terminated. So it says Andrew Ross has been terminated. That's the subject of the notification. It says worker has been terminated. So that's how it will show up here. And if you look at the body, a termination process has been completed for, it says right here, that's a static text, and then the worker field, which is Andrew Ross. Then there's a line break to go to the next line. Then there's another line break, so double space line break. And then it has this text. Please run the project terminated worker report to confirm the worker is on all. So that is available here. Please run the project terminated workers. Then is the line break and then worker projects. So contains the projects where the worker is directly assigned to a project plan or task indirectly via the member resource on the project resource plan associated explicitly defined on or shared with the project. It will return the same list of worker projects shown on the talent profile. So this data is not available for Andrew Ross, so that's why it is becoming not available. Then again, two line breaks, and then a static text after running the report. Search the edited resource plan for project task and remove the worker from appropriate projects. So this is how your notifications would show up once you have configured them in your business process for a specific trigger, right? Any questions around notifications? Like here it says details, terminate Andrew Ross. So if I say I don't want to send this, I can select this tab, do not include notifications details link. So that particular line, the last line, will not show up in the notifications. Generally, the notifications will also land in your email box. For example, whoever is part of this security group and within Workday tenant, whatever the email address is, it would land in their email box as well. Primarily, it will land here in your notifications box, the bell icon, that you have a notification that something has happened, but then it would also land in your inbox. All right. So next is the rule-based notification business processes. So configurable rule-based business process, Workday enables you to enables business process administrators to configure business process rules definition based on condition rules as well. You can create a hierarchy of condition rules that determine which rules-based business process definition Workday selects at runtime. Workday stops processing condition rules when the first rule is satisfied. For example, say BP hire. Let's look at we were looking at the hire default definition, but let's look at the hire acquisition. So here I have a rule called simplified BP enabled. The text is BP switch status is on, and then send it to hire simplified. If a hire acquisition, a hire reason is acquisition, so staffing even subcategory in selection list, and the value specified is hire reason is acquisition, then send it to the business process of hire acquisition. And say, what does hire acquisition look like? So this is a hire process for acquisitions. What we have done is created a copy of the hire default definition, and then we created the hire simplified and a hire acquisition business processes for hire, and then we have assigned a rule that if the BP switch status is on, then go to hire simplified. And if the hire reason is acquisition, use a hire acquisition rule for uh, business process onboarding or business process hire. So the steps to do it is as a related action buttons on a business process or business process type, select business process, rule-based configuration or business process type, rule-based process configuration, select an effective date. The default effective date is the current date, enter the time zone. It's the user's current time zone. You can only enter time zone if you select business process configuration time zone option on the edit and systems tasks. So have a look at that as well. So we don't have access to notifications and system tasks on this tenant, but you can set it up that if you want to use time zones for business process configurations, you can modify it in the edit and systems task. So if you enter the current date in the specified time zone, the changes take effect immediately. If you enter a future date in the specified time zone, changes take effect at midnight on the specified date in the specified time zone. If you enter past date in the specified time zone, the changes take effect at 11:59:59 p.m. on the specified date in the specified time zone. Select the rule-based workflow definition that Workday will use if the selected condition rule is satisfied. And the rules were these. Select additional condition rules and rule-based business process definition as needed. You can only select one condition rule for each rule-based business process definition. So you can select one rule, but that rule can have multiple steps. But if the first step is satisfied, it will not need to go to the next step. Unless the first step is not satisfied, then only then it will go to the next step in the order. So Workday evaluates each condition rule in order, beginning with the first. If the condition rule is satisfied, Workday uses the corresponding rule-based business process definition. If the condition rule is not satisfied, Workday proceeds to evaluate the next condition rule. If no condition rule is satisfied, Workday uses a business process definition configured for the organization to which the event target belongs to. So in case none of the rules are satisfied, it will go to the default definition, business process. So this concludes our chapter for business processes. Our next chapter is additional staffing transactions. So before I proceed to the next chapter, do we have any questions about business processes? What are staffing transactions? Staffing transactions include hire, onboarding, anything related to staffing are included in staffing transactions. So we'll do a demo of Org Studio. We'll do some transactions in Workday, like convert to employee, staffing movement, and terminations. So let's see how to convert to employee from, say, contractual or regular probation. So contractual contingent workers. Temporary workers are referred as contractors or contingent workers. Whenever you see a bracket, C bracket notation is displayed, it is referred to as a contractual employee within Workday. So the C will come after the name of the worker in Workday tenant. So here you'll see Adam Carlton. He must be a regular employee. But when you see AB Brennan with a bracket in C, this person is a contractual employee in Workday. So you can see here the contingent worker type is contractor. So it would have the contract start date and then contract end date as well. So payment for a contractor is not sent to payroll through the payroll interface. So workers by employees a contingent worker type report. A report allows you to view one or more of the contingent worker types and one or more of the employee types or a combination of these populations. This is a Workday delivered report. So workers by employee or contingent worker type. So here I can see the worker types listed here are consultants, contractors, regular, fixed term. So let's remove the regular and select the rest of them. So we know about regular employees. So employee type, you have a fixed term, contract, fixed term. Then you have a contractor. Then you have consultants. And then contractors as well. So say, for example, if I open an employee with a consultant, here I can see the contingent worker type is a consultant. And again, the contract end date. So 01/04/2021 was the hire date, and the contract end date is 12/31/2024. And currently, this employee has served 7 months and 14 days. But here you will see that anything that is not regular, any kind of contractual or contingent worker, you will see a C bracket, bracket C bracket next to the name of the worker. So convert to employee. If you need to convert one of the contractual workers to employee, you can use the task hire employee business process. It just uses a different step to initiate the process. So show convert to employee. So either we can end the contract for that worker and then hire them again as an employee, or we can use the convert to employee task preferred. Say convert, and if you go to actions, if you go to job change, you have the option for convert to employee. So tell me the name of the hire of the person and then global support transcript. Say hire date, I want to hire this worker, say today, I'm going to convert it, or okay, after the end of the contract. So let's say 12/30 or 01/01/2035. So the position that she's had is customer service representative. So let's say senior customer service representative. Employee type is going to be regular, full-time, Paris, and pay rate type, I can say select salaried. So the contract details are here. The project was completed. Say close the position because I don't need that anymore. Say on an annual basis, unit days. It will run through the business process steps. Say I want to change this to say 43,500 euros annual. Merit plan, I want to add an allowance as well. So 5% of annual salary is a car allowance, bonus, stock, commissions, and say submit. So let's reassign this task. we are not allowed to reassign tasks in this tenant, in the GMS tenant. Oh, we are. That's good. If I go to my inbox, I should have this change organization assignment. Companies SA France, support EMEA, regions EU, and don't want to add the customer organizations. So organization assignments for review. Say Lumen approved it. I'll edit Workday account. So require new password at next sign in. Change the password, submit. So next step is for Genevieve Legrand to set up her payment election. So it would be in her inbox to set up payment elections, where she can enter her Workday details, yeah, her bank details. So now we have been able to successfully convert a contractual employee into a permanent employee or a regular employee. So contract a contingent worker, create CTW position, approve, create a request, contract worker, then convert a contingent worker. It says let's create a convert CW position first. Let's see if we have a position. Loganstein, HR Services Department. HR Operations and list. Say availability date is today, and I can hire on this person. Let's use 18th. So HR services. So here we are going to select in worker type, contingent worker, and say I want this person to be a contractor. Then we go to the business process steps. So now this position is successfully created. So if I go to the supervisor organization, I should have this position available in staffing. So the tenant is set up not for me to be able to create positions. All right, so let's look at one more thing. Open position. So lucky for us, we have one position available that we can hire upon. Oh, that's the one that we created. But I cannot hire on it unless so the tenant is not allowing me to create a position and making it available to fill because of restrictions on the edit and setup. I think because of the issues that was we were having last week on the tenant, somebody made really uh, interesting changes that really made the Logan McNeil and Joy Banks profile go down. And so they've really tightened up the tenant for making changes into the system. But we have actually done one worker, so convert an existing contractual worker like uh, Genevieve Legrand from contingent to contractual to a permanent employee. So if I look at the worker history, so the effective date is 12/31/2024. So that is when the contract ends. And then she's being hired as a employee after the contract has ended. Next is what is staffing movement. The job change process supports promotions, demotions, transfers, lateral moves, change positions to data and location. Based on your business process, there can be other steps like reviewing, editing, and approving the staffing movement. Okay, so let's try to transfer a worker. Position swap, a rare but functionality is available to support worker rotations. In fact, before we go there, let's transfer a worker. So I'm going to transfer somebody from Jackie's Lesage team to Hans Visser. Transfer a worker, I can go to the actions of that worker, go to job change, and select the option start, promote, transfer, promote, or job change. All right, so see, I want this effective, say, in the past date, say August 1st. Then I can select the recent transfer, move to another manager. So currently, this person is reporting to Jacques Lesage. So VIS. So I'm going to transfer it to this worker. This supervisory organization will automatically update based on the manager and say this person is going to be in Amsterdam. So press start. So I plan to backfill this headcount. So you would like to retain this headcount or this position and say, is this position available for overlap? Or do I want to move this headcount to the new manager that I don't need this position anymore? Say I select move, I go to job, say customer service representative, say I don't want to change any job profile or it's not a promotion, it's just a transfer to another manager. So the location was Paris. Now we've added the new location, Amsterdam. Based on the location, it has changed the schedule weekly hours from 25 to 40. And then the weekly cycle, France was removed for work shift. Additional details, employee type is regular, location has changed, default weekly hours has changed, full-time employee, the job classification has changed. So based on the location, it is applying the changes automatically. So if I need to have any attachments, I can do that. I can review the organization changes. So it's going to be EU Western, global support, Europe, Middle East, Asia. Denmark, Netherlands, Germany, Japan, UAE, Hong Kong, India. also Malaysia, Luxembourg. So 6, I want to switch it to global modern services. I want to keep the same cost center. So France, Netherlands. So earlier it was 28,170 euros. Now it's 26. So I want to bring it back up to say 27,000 or 28,000 euros. And there's an allowance for 2.25 euros per kilometer at 110 monthly, merit, bonus, stock, commissions, others. Say I want to keep this assignment, so I can click on the back button and it will restore the assignment that was there already. So next, review and say submit. So now the business process for transfer of this employee will go through, like the receiving manager is there, and the next steps of the business process are by manager's manager, then review changeover by HR partner, change order assignment, assign collective agreement. So all these steps are left that will happen as per the change job business process. So I would not like to go through the entire business process by reassigning each task to Logan McNeil, but we have seen the business process as to how it works. As per the configuration, if the conditions are met, that step will be executed or it will be skipped as not required. The position swap, a rare but functionality is available. Support workers rotation, reorg, and business that move worker between locations. You can move workers into each other's position. So the task name is swap position tasks, and managers can use request swap position swap task to initiate the process.